the deeds and the works of the law, they constrain you to be circumcised. They forcing you to keep the law, okay, forbidding you to do certain things according to strictly to the law, but they're not judging by the Spirit, but things that they can't even keep themselves, okay. It says, only lest they should suffer the persecution for the cross of Hamashiach. So in order to keep themselves from having to go through the affliction of being in the Spirit, of living in the Spirit, because indeed you're going to catch hell by simply walking righteously in a wicked world, okay, in order to prevent themselves from suffering that persecution because they're cowards, okay, they're scary, they push the law on you. So they ask you, where your fringe is at? Why you not keeping the law? Meanwhile, you know, they still got bacon bits floating in their system, or they might not even, you know, break that specific law, okay, but they got lineups or whatever it may be. Right. There's all types of laws, you know, that are being broken, and it's up to the ultimate judge, who is Yahweh Shai, okay, to sit on that judgment seat, and every soul is gonna make account of their labors, okay, and those who are in the Spirit, Yahweh Shai is gonna deliver those who you know, who are persecutors of the spiritual men. The Most High is gonna judge them, man. That's right. And he's gonna judge them according to their works, okay. Let's continue here. In verse 13 it says, for neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised, that they may glory in your flesh. They're carnal, man. They want to see you keep the law. They want to keep the law so that they can be honored of men. Right. Could you get Matthew chapter 23, Bible Shah? So that they can be honored of men, they want to force the law upon you. That's hypocritical. Okay. Sure. Matter of fact, do you have that already?
Matthew 23.
Yeah, 23. Let's see, where are we at? Start at verse. You know what? Start at verse 1. Yeah.
This is Matthew 23, starting at the top at verse 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you, observe. That observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Right. So Yahushua was telling them, hey, it's okay to do what they say as far as keeping the law, but you have to be aware of them, because these niggas here, they're carnal, man. That's all they worry about is the law. You know, they don't have any righteous judgment. They don't have the Spirit on them. Okay, so because they're not of the elect, man. It goes all the way back to election. Okay, that's why we give diligence and toil in these scriptures to make our calling and election sure. Okay, we're rightly dividing the word of truth. What does that take? The Spirit. It takes the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to rightly divide the word of truth, to be able to properly discern the scriptures, man, and apply them in specific situations properly. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
Right. Yahushua was getting on them, man, and this shows that Yahushua is for spiritual men. He's for spirituality. Because if you're a hypocritical person, you're gonna tell somebody to do something that you can't. You know, and that's messed up, man. If you want to ask of somebody, you have to be willing to do it yourself. Otherwise, you're not worthy of receiving whatever request that you made. You know, that's why Yahushua he had to sacrifice himself first, so that he would be worthy of receiving that reward. Okay, and we're to follow after that. So he can ask of us to die for him. Why? Because he died for us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right, bro.
We don't have no argument against him.
That's right.
You see, because he sacrificed himself for us. Lord willing, we're those men. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men.
Right. Go ahead.
They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments.
Right. They make their letters long, their addresses, their introductions long, Okay, they make their I think phylactery goes into like a script or a scroll. Okay, they just how whenever there would be a noble entering into a scene and everyone and he wanted everyone to see him. He'd have somebody stand before him and open up a long scroll. I hereby present to you, Sir Lancelot. That's the spirit of fulfilling the flesh to be seen of men. Okay, it goes all the way back to the ancient times when Yahushua was on the scene, man. These same men were on here. I'm Salaki in Jerusalem, okay, and in that common area, constantly trying to seek after a recognition through the flesh, okay, and that's not what that's not what this journey is about, okay.
And if I may add, those same scribes and Pharisees are back on the scene today. There's those spirits are back in the earth today doing the same things that they did back then. Man, ain't no different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Still all about the law, trying to be seen of men, trying to impress the next man, you know what I'm saying? But this thing ain't about the law, man. Again, it's gonna have to keep reiterating the fact that this thing is about faith, man. Faith in Yahushua.
Brother.
That's it.
We're gonna continue to prove it through the scriptures, man. And some of the scribes and Pharisees believed on Yahushua, but those who were wicked and carnal, those were the persecutors of Yahushua, and those are the men who are persecuting the spiritual men. Those are the men who are pushing the law, because you got some scribes and Pharisees, some of the circumcision that actually believed in Yahushua. But a majority of them did not, and those men, like we said, are still in the same position, spiritually retarded. Okay, go ahead and continue. Is there more on that?
Maybe the point you want to
go. Let's skip down to verse 13.
This is Matthew chapter 23, verse 13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees,
right?
Hypocrites. For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men.
Right. Salakia. Blood is on their hands. That's what that's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because they have the opportunity, they're in the position to accept Yahushua, to accept Yahushua, to be spiritual, yet they want to continue to be carnal and be seen of men and be perceived as winning on this side, okay? Flexing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They wanna make peace. They want to create a change in this world. No, man. This world the Most High is going to change this world. You can't change this world. You can't even change yourself, unless the Most High has mercy on you. Okay? But read that verse again. Bible Kushah.
This is Matthew 23 and 13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
Right. They prevent. They neither do they. First of all, they don't try to go into the kingdom of heaven. They try to they continually are carnal, and when they see another brother trying to that may be trying to enter into the faith, they offend the little one, man. And guess what? That's destruction. Yahushua said himself, if any man offend one of these little ones, it would be better for him that a millstone be tied around their neck and they be cast into the sea. They're good for nothing, man. They're no good. Okay, they do nothing but that's why they're of their father the devil, because that's what the devil does. They deceive the devil. His job, the spiritual demon Satan, who was the adversary, his job is to prevent Jake from salvation, man. Because he's already got Esau. He's the god of Esau. He doesn't really, he really is more concerned about shit. He's the god of the 2/3. He's most concerned with the elect of the nation of Israel, and that's why we catch the most hell. But it's worth it when we matter of fact, can you get 2 Corinthians 4 and 17 really quick, Bible shot.
4 and 17?
Yeah. 4 and 17. Just to prove that point.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Right. The scripture says it best, man. That light affliction, whatever you're catching on this side, is not comparable to the mercies. You can go back to the mercies and the grace that we're gonna receive on the other side, man, on the kingdom in eternity in its perfection. Okay. You can go ahead and continue reading it in Matthew.
I'm gonna just read 13 again.
Okay.
It's Matthew 23 and 13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation.
Right, being a nigga trying to say that in the name of whoever, you know, on this side, whoever you pray to, you know, Jesus Christ or whatever, you know, you going into these houses, you know, and requiring money, and saying, okay, I'm gonna pray for you, you know, that really mostly applies to the pastors, you know, of these whorehouses, okay. And saying for a pretense you'll make long prayer, you know, therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. You know, false prophets, you know, those men, you know, they don't have any seat on the chariot, you know, because you stealing from the widow, you know. The scriptures say, you know, to help the widow and the orphan and the fatherless, you know, but they're doing the opposite, you know. They're feeding off of their weakness, okay. Which is condemnable. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves.
Right. Go ahead. Verse 16.
Verse 16. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor.